You study, you forget, but when you remember, it's too late. क्या आप भी ये problem face करते हैं? If the answer is yes, then this video is only for you. Because in this video, I'm going to discuss about 14 important practical memorization techniques that actually would help you to get lots of productivity in your life and immense and impactful result in your academic journey. I've actually incorporated this in my daily study routine and I got immense results. Hello everyone, welcome to Soumya Shantipuri. I am Soumya Pramanik, currently pursuing BCom Honours from NM College, and recently I've cleared my CNT to both the groups in my first and 4 exemptions. So from my childhood, I always have been a studious person. I always hated rote learning and I always sought for the concept oriented learning. But when I grew up later in the academic stages, I understood that remembering things is also important because concepts corresponds facts and information. Suppose you are a judge, you have to give proper judgment. If you do not know about the past case laws, then how can you give true and fair and practical judgment? It would be harder. If you're a consultant, how embarrassing it would be while giving the consultations if you are always required to go for the jumble of materials, take time, and then reproduce the information, reciprocate the questions of your clients. So always it is important to remember relevant and important information which are associated with the work you are doing. Many people find hard to remember things or facts, data, because they do not know how to do it. In this video, we're going to talk about practical 4 important memorization techniques that I have learned from different multiple genuine sources, and they are actually life-changing. So get hooked up to the last moment of this video, and I would be assuring after completing the video, you'd be getting much valuable insights. Don't forget to like and share and subscribe to our channel. So let's come to the point. The first important technique is the mnemonic technique. This technique is used when you have to remember series of steps or large paragraph in a very short period of time. What is the way to do it? Basically, to form a mnemonic, you have to take out alphabets or words from the set of paragraph or the series of steps, and then you have to form small phrases. By doing that, you can actually remember a lot of things just with the key of mnemonic. But alert, you should not make the mnemonic just by taking alphabets of any word in that paragraph. You have to take those alphabets which are associated with keywords which are worth remembering, right? And also you have to remember that you should not form mnemonic which is harder than the paragraph itself. So you have to make easier mnemonics which you can easily remember, and certainly you can recall the keyword associated with the alphabets or words of the phrases of mnemonics, and you can easily get the answers. So this is a very good tool that you can use. The second technique is visualization. What is visualization? Visualization is to make pictures inside your brain. If you're not able to imagine, then you can draw on a piece of paper, draw it several times, and it would automatically get imprinted inside your brain. For example, you are remembering a story. Then you can draw the pictures associated with the keywords and then try to visualize by closing your eyes, and it would automatically get imprinted inside your mind. Our brain is such that it can remember what is in the left, what is in the right, what is at the center. And the same thing will happen when the question will come in your examination hall and you get all the things recalled. So it is a very effective tool. Then coming to the third one, demonstration technique. This is the most loved technique of mine. There are many types of learning. Some learns by audio, some learns by video, audio visual. Third, by kinetics, by actions. Okay, many teachers use actions to make you learn things. So I follow the demonstration technique as if there are students in front of mine and I am teaching them something. So when you are able to teach someone, okay, then you'd be able to understand that how much you know actually, right? So you don't always get your brother or sister in front of you. So you have to have imaginary students in front of you and you have to act like you are teaching them. And that too I do. I close the door of my room and I enact like I am a teacher and I am just demonstrating the concepts. Even you can take a board, blackboard or whiteboard, and you can use that to enact like a teacher, and that is a great way of remembering things. Whenever you are lacking concepts or lacking ideas, lacking facts while you are teaching, like when you are enacting as a teacher, you can readily go and study and then again demonstrate it. So this is a wonderful technique that I have followed. Fourth, mind map and connecting dots. This is a very concept oriented approach. On a piece of paper, try to make mind maps. How to make mind maps? You have to jot down every point in that chapter and try to link up using flowcharts. And it will automatically get imprinted inside your brain if you make the flowcharts or the mind map multiple times. But you can only make these flowcharts if your concept is clear, because while making them you have to position all the blocks in the flowcharts or all the elements in the mind map in such a manner that you know what is linked with what and you have to do the proper positioning. So this is a very effective way of remembering things. Then is audio notes. This is basically followed by many toppers. Even I have done this during my CA intermediate study. So how to do that? Basically, you have to record small but complex problems. You have to record them in WhatsApp or your recorder, and whenever you are not studying, be it you are traveling or you are eating, okay, or you are just trying to rest, then you can just plug your headphones in and listen to your own voice. Sometimes at the beginning it would feel weird to listen to your own voice, but it would be habituated later. So you try to make playlists of important concepts and try to listen to them when you're traveling or when you are idle. The next technique is analogies. Analogies means to form the comparisons. Alright? How to do that? Suppose you have learned a concept and try to figure out some similar thing in your practical life. For example, you have studied about section 192, and this is the section of Income Tax Act 1961, and you are trying to remember that it's related to salary, right? Try to form an analogy of section 192 and salary. In section 192 there is S, section S, and salary may be S hai. But you may say that in other sections also S is there. How to remember? You remember in such a way that section 192 is the first section in the TDS chapter, and first section में section आता है तो section का S, and S is related to salary. So you can make weird relationship and mumbo jumbos in order to remember. And that is your own call. I am not here to teach how to make analogies, because analogies that I give to you may not be suitable for you to remember, but you can make weird relationship and actually it works. Then is active recall technique. It is similar to demonstration technique, but this is more of writing. How to do this? Active recall technique means, suppose you have studied for 1 week, and after that, after the end of 1 week, in the weekend, you try to recall whatever you have studied in the past week. Try to, write everything that you are able to recall at that time without any questions, or I would say without any other provisions. You just try to figure out that I have studied the income from salary chapter, and try to write whatever is coming inside your brain right now. Therefore, you can understand that what actually apparently is permanent inside your brain and where you have to work on more, and try to figure out them and jot down in your diary. Therefore, you would be able to understand that those are the points that I could not recall during the active recall process are actually my areas of improvement. The next one, strong story poem formulations. Okay, so I write mainly in Bengali, but also in English too. So I try to form stories and poems with the help of the keywords present in the paragraphs, right? So this actually I learned from one teacher of mine. There is a huge paragraph. You try to take the keywords and try to form a story out of them. Okay, so this is another one. Then 1-page summary. This technique is very important. Why it is important? Because it is not only important for your remembering, but also important for your last day revision. You try to jot down everything with the help of indentation, flowcharts, whatever you can do with the help of pointers. Okay, you try to jot down everything of a chapter in 1 page. So if there are 15 chapters, you try to make a bunch of 15 pages, and you see how effective your study would be. You'd be able to remember things much better. Then there is layering technique. This technique I used to follow when I thought that there is much time. So this technique you can only use if you have enough time in your hand. This is also very beneficial. Layering technique means, first of all, you study something and then you try to recall. Then again you study, again you recall. You will notice that each time you study, every time you get some more, and you will be able to remember some more from that text. While recalling, you'll be able to see in your paper some more new points you are able to recall in each step. So active recall along with layering is going to be a very beneficial thing, but you do this when you are just starting your study. Okay, suppose you have watched a lecture, you have studied from your classroom, then you do the layering technique in the afternoon. Then there is the next strategy or next technique, that is writing multiple times. This is the most effective techniques. There is a say called writing 1 time is equivalent to reading 6 times. In the first hand, if you write things what you have studied, for example, you are studying at the same time simultaneously writing, you are scribbling, then your capacity to remember things or capacity to retain increases. So while you are doing self-study, if you want to remember large paragraphs or long definitions or series of steps, you can write things on a piece of paper multiple times so that it gets imprinted inside your brain. Another is pre-guessing progressing. This is not after studying, this is before studying. When you are touching a concept, there are some topics which you already know, but there would be some areas which actually you don't know. But when you have already completed your study, your mind will say, yeah, let me study the whole of it again because I may not recall. So to avoid that, what you can do before studying that, just getting the name of it, you try to figure out what, or you try to guess what the concept or what the text would yield after I would study. And then after studying, you try to match them. You would see about 70 to 80%. Okay. If not 60 to 70% of the content will match. For example, blockchain. If you have studied or you have watched videos in YouTube, okay, some things you'd be obviously you have obviously studied. So before touching the main content, you may guess blockchain, there would be blocks, it would be secured, cryptocurrency is associated. So you try to jot down the points, and then parallelly after studying, you try to jot down the points which you actually studied, and then figure out what you already knew and what you came to know recently. Then your effort would be reduced. You would only have to remember those things which actually you did not know. The next and the last one, but not the least, concept net. In your mind, try to make a mesh of concept. For example, if you're studying taxation, you try to compare each concept with the other. Try to make a mesh, or rather a jali, a net of an internet or an intranet of concepts. You try to associate law with tax, okay, accounts with audit, and try to figure out what are the relationships with them, and then you'd be able to understand how easier it would be to recall things. So these are the 14 techniques that I think would be very much effective if you follow them, if you try to implement them. But it is always effective if you figure out what is actually best for you. Try to experiment with all these memorization techniques, and if you know more about memorization techniques, then you can comment down so that others and even me can know about them. एंड आज के लिए इतना ही. आशा करता हूँ वीडियो अच्छा लगा. अगर लगा तो encourage your efforts by liking and sharing. I'll be coming up with much more interesting videos. तब तक के लिए टाटा, गुड बाय. थैंक यू.